Hi everyone, this is Johnnyonoes, and I am playing Empyrion Galactic Survival version Alpha 203. And in this Let's Game episode, I'm going to give a brief overview of the game, showing its strengths, showing its weaknesses, and giving some brief information about how I feel about the game and whether or not you should go out and purchase it or, be wary of it. Now, Empyrion is the game I was waiting for a very long time. I was spending a lot of time playing Space Engineers, and I wanted something that provided more of a game than just the building aspect that Space Engineers had. Now, I want to make it really clear that Empyrion is more of a survival game than it is an engineering type game. Sure, you can build ships, you can build bases. It just doesn't have the tools that Space Engineers provides. But then you take the counterbalance of it, and it doesn't. Space Engineers doesn't have the game that Empyrion does. You can build your own ship. You start off on a barren planet where you only have a couple tools and some resources, and you get to the point at the end of the game where you are flying an intergalactic cruiser, going and shooting some drones out of the air. So this game is exactly what I was looking for in the terms of, I wanted a cool survival game where I can do a little bit of building, a little bit of crafting, but at the same time making sure I had, got that whole survival aspect nailed down. Now, the first strength that I'd like to point out is kind of what I spoke about. This game really gives you an awesome feeling of starting from rags and then ending up with riches. In my Let's Play series, my character starts off, and for the first 5 or 6 days, he lives in a pond on a planet called Omicron. Now I'm at a point where I'm flying a cruiser around, warping other planets, flying my little fighter around, using my hover vehicle to get resources. It's a really amazing experience that you don't see in a lot of other games, and Empyrion really delivers with that feeling of the rags to riches. The other thing I like about this game too is that the shipbuilding is more simple. It's not engineering based. It doesn't, like, the physics model isn't precise. Like, if you put one engine on the back left of your ship and you put 20 on the right of your ship, yes, you're going to have a little bit of thrust difference between the two sides, but you're not going to be spinning around in circles like, say, Kerbal or Space Engineers. So the shipbuilding is relatively simple, which then allows you to make ships quickly and simply, and if you happen to lose one, it's not that big of a deal. You can easily just rebuild it. The other cool aspect that they added just recently, it wasn't out when it first was released, was that you have the ability of building a ship in creative and then blueprinting it so that you can recreate it in survival. So here's my blueprints that I've built, but here are other blueprints that I picked up from the workshop. Now, if you're like me and the best looking ship that you can make, it looks like a shoebox with some guns and some engines on it, then you'll really appreciate the really amazing ships that you'll find in the workshop. And it's just as easy as subscribing. You don't even have to shut the game off. You subscribe and the blueprint goes right into your listing, allowing you to build it. So there's some really cool aspects to this game: the survival, the ease of shipbuilding, as well as the sharing of blueprints and making your own and importing into your survival game. Makes for a really fun experience. Now, the weaknesses that I can identify in this game, there's definitely a very steep learning curve in the beginning of the game. The game doesn't do a really good job of explaining to you what does what, and it's kind of hard. Like, if you're looking at something and the only info you get is it's an intermediate product used as a component. That could be a plant, that could be an ingot, that could be anything. So you have no idea what you need to use that particular item for to build out something. So there's a lot of aspects, including the fact that the tutorial as of Alpha 203 is pretty broken. The first tutorial is really easy. The second one tells you something that you won't be able to have in the beginning of the game, given the fact that the beginning of the game has changed so much. Before, you would get like an escape pod that you can tear down, get a bunch of resources. In this, now you just basically get an escape pod that's a container. You can't do anything with it. You get a couple resources, some tools, and you go along your business. So yeah, the initial experience is relatively difficult. It's hard to figure out what you need to do, like where do you move or where do you go. what should you be looking for, that sort of thing. Man, I'm taking a lot of hits for some reason. So yeah, the initial experience is tough. The second weakness I want to call to your attention is the AI. Now, this drone is a perfect example of it, and those turrets are a perfect example of it. The AI could either be really easy or really difficult. As you can see, this drone is struggling to be able to get a beat on me. And all I need to do is just kind of strafe next to it, and it won't be able to hit me at all, allowing me just to shoot some weapons at it and blow it up really easily. What you saw with the turrets is that they have pinpoint accuracy. If you're not careful, they can really destroy you super easy. If you're on foot, it's even worse, where they can see through trees, they can see through foliage, they can even at some point see right through the landscape as well. So the AI kind of has this weird balance of too easy or too difficult. The last weakness I want to bring up is that the crafting system is really slow and in my opinion, pretty convoluted. It follows the same system as what you would see in a Space Engineers, where you have to take raw resources, process them into metals, and then process the metal into components, and then the components into more advanced components, and then finally you get your device that you're looking for. Now, Space Engineers has a lot of tools and a lot of resources for you to be able to automate that process. As of 2.03, Empyrion does not. Yes, they have improved the base constructors that you can put on there, where it will build the components for you. It's still a very long and arduous process to be able to build the things that you want, and it really kind of makes a strange counterbalance between crafting normally in survival mode and using the factory and blueprint system. The crafting is super using a constructor is super difficult and takes a long time to figure out how to do it. It also takes a long time just to make the tools, and then at the same time you have this factory where you don't have to actually build anything. I could, be without a ship, I could be without a base, and then I just say, all right, let's put some resources into this magical factory, which then makes it and allows me to spawn what I'm looking for. So it's got this, I feel as if the crafting as of 2.03 is in a transitionary period where they realize that their original thought for crafting was too difficult, and they're kind of moving more towards a more easy to use system. So those are the three weaknesses that I could see. The steep learning curve. You've got the game's AI being very wonky right now, and gunplay being very rigid, as well as then the crafting system feeling really slow and convoluted. But overall, this game is an amazing experience that allows you to do whatever you feel like, and your creativity is the limit. You build your own ship. You can build your own hover vehicle. You can then go and destroy these poor aliens, and take over their bases if you wish. The multiplayer is extremely fleshed out as well, allowing you and a couple of friends to join in on a server and build together. The multiplayer is very solid. So overall, I think the game is like $12 right now during the Steam sale, but even the base price of $20 is totally reasonable for the amount of enjoyment that you'll get from this game. So if you're not really an engineering type and you want to be able to just build ships and shoot aliens and explore different planets, this game is definitely for you. If you're looking for a super fast, making ships and shooting things type of experience, then this may not be for you. But if you like crafting, if you like mining, if you like building and designing your own ships, this is a great, I don't want to necessarily say Space Engineers Light. It's a really great survival game with a little bit of engineering in it. So if you're into that, if you like survival, you like a little bit of building, then this game is definitely for you. Alright folks, so this is Johnnyonoes playing Empyrion Galactic Survival version 2.03. Thanks so much for listening, and if you have any questions about the game, please leave a comment or take a look at my Let's Learn series of videos about the game. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.